Hey Anchor, thanks for being here. Whether you're tuning in live Sunday night or catching this at another time, we are so glad you're here. Simply choosing to watch this video today is an act of worship. So grab your Bibles and enjoy the message.
Larissa, thank you so much for welcoming us to Anchor today. And if you guys notice, I'm here at the hub, but you're not here. We still can't meet physically, but we're continuing to meet virtually, and that doesn't change with this series on location. Now, we've done this for the past few summers, going to continue it for the next 6 weeks, but it's going to look a little bit different. It's not just going to be me speaking and going and taking a biblical truth from a different location here in town or in the state. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go all over the country, and we're going to hear from a few different people in ministry, people that I look up to, people that have encouraged me over the years. Some of them have been our former camp speakers or a United Night speaker, and so you guys are in for a treat. So the next 6 weeks, we're going all over the nation, different locations, pulling different biblical truths from them. And today what we're going to be doing is we're headed to Texas. We're headed to Austin, Texas, and we're going to be spending time with the lead pastor of Awaken Church, Ben Shank. If you guys were at camp a couple years ago, Waves Camp, then you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. And I can't wait to see what he has to share with us today. Here we go. First location, Austin, Texas.
What's up, fam? Welcome to the greatest city in the world. We are here in Austin, Texas. As you can see behind me, we are at the iconic mural called the I Love You So Much mural. I love this because Austinites and tourists alike come to this location to get their picture taken. They come here to proclaim their love for one another. What I love about this spot is that in a city that is harsh, in a city that's motto is keep Austin weird, the prevailing thought of the day is love. Everybody loves to be loved. You see, despite our best efforts, there's something inside of us that keeps us from giving and receiving love the way that we ought to. I remember as a 7th grader, my parents, they made the decision that we were gonna go on a 2-week vacation up the north of the East Coast. It was a trip that would span from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, up to New York City, Philadelphia, all the way up to Niagara Falls and the Adirondack Mountains. I mean, this was an incredible trip of a lifetime. But you see, as a kid, I couldn't see that. All I knew was that I wanted to experience thrills and excitement. I didn't want to go see old history museums. I didn't want to go and see some Liberty Bell or these museums or monuments. I wanted to go and experience thrills and excitement. I wanted to go to Six Flags and see roller coasters like Full Throttle or Twisted Colossus, the Viper. I wanted to experience all that there was out there. And what was crazy was that every single day of that trip, we would see incredible sights, historic moments, places that only happen once in a lifetime. And every single day of that trip, I decided when I woke up that I was going to be miserable. Despite my parents' best efforts to get me excited and get to see the beauty that was around me, all I could see was the fact that I wasn't getting to do what I wanted to do. I couldn't see past myself. I couldn't see past the love and the incredible moments that they were trying to provide for me. Looking back now, the irony of that trip is that I've been to Six Flags over a dozen times, and I can't remember a single moment there. But I can tell you, the one time that I went on that trip, as much as I hated it, it had a lasting impact. I remember experiencing things that I'll never get to experience. You see, the fact is that I couldn't get myself out of the way to receive this incredible gift that my parents were trying to give me. Why is it so hard for us to give and receive that love? Well, what Jesus says is this, is that the thing standing in our way from true life is actually ourself. It's pride. In fact, in Matthew, Jesus talks to his disciples and he says to them, he says, whoever will gain his life must first lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel, they'll find it. What Jesus is saying is that if we die to ourselves and we get ourselves out of the way, the very thing that God has designed us to want the most, the thing that we crave the most, he says we'll finally gain that if we'll let go. In fact, he tells the Apostle Peter, he tells him this. He says, if you want this, Peter, what you must first do is die to self and live a life, he says these two words, for me. This is so hard because for most of us, we think we know what we want. We think we know that we want thrills and excitement from that Six Flags adventure, when instead what awaits us is this incredible 2-week vacation on the East Coast. We think we know the love that we want to accept. We think we have it in a relationship, or we think that we have it in money. We think we have it in followers or fame. We think this is where we'll finally get to receive this love. And what Jesus says is this: if you come to me and you let go of your pride, you let go of yourself, you will finally find the very thing that you're looking for. You see, 2,000 years ago, Jesus came to this earth. He emptied himself of all of his pleasures in heaven, emptied himself of all of his divinity, and he came and entered that divinity into humanity. And he says, I'll take on flesh and bone. I'll enter into your life, experience your suffering. And when I do, I'll finally die to myself. I'll humble myself before the Father. And when he did that, it says that the very torture device that they used, the cross, what the ancient world would use as the greatest torture device of all time, the cross would turn into the greatest depiction of love humanity has ever known. Jesus let go of his life so he could proclaim his love for you from the cross. Just as this mural behind me is proclaiming its love for all that take a picture here, Jesus wants to proclaim his love for you today. The question is, will you accept it? Will you humble yourself and say, I am in need of a Savior? You see, when you accept that love, the very life that you've been searching for is waiting for you. The very moment, the very instant that you accept. Today, that love is waiting for you. Jesus has already proclaimed it. The question is, accept it. Because Rock Harbor Youth, I want you to hear this, that the God of the universe is proclaiming to you through Jesus on the cross, I love you so much.
Man, every single time that he speaks, I learn something new, and I come away so encouraged. Whether that's camp a couple years ago, United Nights, our digital United Night during quarantine, or even today with this message, so encouraged. And so Ben, thank you so much for being with us, for sharing a little bit of Austin with us, and just continuing to encourage our student ministry. Can't thank you enough. Now, really quick, before we head to groups, I just want to touch base on one thing. There were so many things in the message that Ben encouraged us with, but something that stuck out to me was he said that there was this iconic mural, right? And it was cursive handwriting that said, I love you so much. And so initially, this is so iconic, it's cursive handwriting that says, I love you so much. It was so simple. It was so basic in a great way. And I think what stuck out to me was the idea that God's love for us is that simple. I love you so much. And Ben talked about this, right? He said that it was our pride really that was keeping us from accepting this gift. It's a free gift that Jesus offers. His sacrifice on the cross gives us salvation, right? Accepting that free gift that he offers of his sacrifice on the cross. And I think it is so simple. We're the ones that make it so challenging and make it so difficult when it doesn't have to be. Jesus said, I love you, and I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to die on a cross for your sin, for Travis's sin, for humanity's sin, so that you might have a way to spend eternity in heaven with God. And if you've already made that decision, if you've already accepted that gift as Ben talked about, then you know just how important this is. If maybe you haven't accepted that gift, and hearing this message, being on location in Austin with this I love you so much mural has maybe brought up some things where you say, you know what? I need to accept the gift of salvation from Jesus. It's very simple, just like that mural. It's ABC. Admit that you're a sinner. Admit that you have gotten things wrong, admit that you've fallen short, believe, right? The B is believe that Jesus is who he said he was, believe that Jesus really did live a sinless life, that he was beaten and mocked and spit upon and nailed to a cross, buried in a tomb, and 3 days later he came back from the dead, resurrecting from the dead. Believe in Jesus. And the C is commit. Commit your life to him. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It doesn't mean you're going to get everything right. But it means that Jesus, you're the boss of my life. You're the Lord of my life. It's that simple to accept this free gift of salvation, right? And have an opportunity to spend eternity in heaven. And so, like I said, if that's a decision you've already made, I'm so excited. If that's a decision that you've yet to make, but you're interested, please reach out to your small group leader. Reach out to me. Reach out to anybody here at the church. We would love to have this conversation with you. So this has only been week 1 of On Location. We have a few more weeks of this, and I can't wait to see where else we're going to be headed.
So really hoping the message touched your heart today. The Lord spoke to you through those words. Now is the perfect time to jump into a Zoom call with your small group, shoot them a text message, send them a prayer request, let them know your thoughts. And if you're not in a small group, let Danielle know. Shoot us an Instagram message, we'll get you connected, because small groups is the best part of Anchor. You can always use the Rock Harbor app as well to get connected. It's really helpful. So we'll see everyone next time.